Hey guys, it's Tyra Andy on the screen again, and this is the Q&A video. Got the questions. So, first up, this question was actually made by a friend of mine from Brazil. She asked me if I ever thought of giving English lessons. My English is good, I know that, but I'm not someone who can easily explain things as far as I'm concerned. I don't have a lot of patience for it. Me teaching strangers, I don't know how that would work. This second one, came from a subscriber that comes to my streams sometimes. They asked me what is the thing that I miss most about living in Brazil, and I have to say I'm not that attached to my country. I'm really not. What I miss most is my friends and family. And they asked another question, which makes it the third question of the video. Where do I see myself in 5 years? And that's a loaded one, because I mean, there is the ideal and there is the realistic, you know? Ideally, I will have published a book and I will be living where I want, which is Holland, Netherlands, and I will be on my own and possibly with a romantic partner, so you know, and with friends around me, like at least one friend around me, and then there's the realistic one, which is probably still be living with my parents. We'll be at a boring desk job that I don't like because I need to make money somehow. Yeah, there's two views for it, and I presented those views to you. Now on to the questions that I got on Tumblr. There's a few of them, but well, let's go. 1. Do you prefer angst or fluff? And which side characters do you prefer in each one? Personally, I love romance angst, but prefer Virgil fluff. If you don't know what this is talking about, it's the Sandersides characters from Thomas Sanders, who is by far my favorite YouTuber. And okay, angst or fluff, that's actually, I don't know. Like if you're asking me what I prefer to write, it's probably angst, just because I can like pour so much like emotion into that. Fluff, of course, you can pour emotion, but it's a little bit more on the surface level, in my opinion. Unless it's angst / fluff, then it's just like heart's comfort, which I adore, by the way. But if I prefer reading either angst or fluff, I think it's probably fluff, because otherwise I will fucking cry my heart out and I will die of dehydration. Just, yes. And the second one, any advice for how to get people to use your new pronouns, specifically they, them, especially if the person doesn't believe in them? Thanks. This is the same anon, by the way. They put a blue triangle, Los angle. And I'm not sure, really. I'm so sorry, because, well, they, them doesn't exist in Portuguese, which is the language that I use every day because I live in a Portuguese-speaking country. We don't have the equivalent for they, them. It just doesn't exist. It's either she or he, and it's a little bit, hurts a bit, you know? And the only people that do use they, them for me are either online or my friend in Brazil who speaks a lot of English, so they just generally use they, them for me because they know I'm non-binary. And they were all very accepting of it, you know? My mom is one of those people who doesn't believe in they, them pronouns. And, well, we don't speak English with each other, so she wouldn't even, like, use them normally. It's just, I don't know, I think I'm trying to think. Maybe you can let them know that they, them has always been used as a way to, like, not identify a person's gender. That is just like maybe try to separate in their minds that the pronoun doesn't equal gender, and that like they're just pronouns, and it would make you a lot more comfortable. If this person really cares about you, try to appeal to their love for you, you know, just that you would really want them to use they, them for you. I really hope this helps. I have zero experience with this, so I hope it was helpful, but if it wasn't, I'm really sorry, and I hope you find other ways, because you deserve to feel loved and respected. So now comes a batch of questions from one of my friends on Tumblr. Their name is Lucifer, and they're great, beautiful being, but let's go. 1. If you could redesign any of their sides, who would you pick, and what would the outfit look like? That's a good question. And again, we're talking about Sender sides. Thomas Sanders, my favorite YouTuber ever. I don't know, man, because I like their designs, just every part of it. I love all of the designs because they are so them. I don't know, I think in my mind they just became like one with the outfits, you know? I don't know. Because Virgil, for example, Virgil's is my aesthetic, I will not lie. That whole like black and purple scene is my thing. Especially because black and purple are my favorite colors. I'm wearing a purple lipstick right now. It's not dark purple, but it's purple. So Virgil's I wouldn't touch to do anything because it's perfect the way it is. Roman's is beautiful, and I think the upgrade from the older version was beautiful. I think the only thing I would give Roman is like a crown. It can be big, small, just it had to be golden. That's the only thing that I would give Roman. Logan is also perfect because he looks like a teacher, and that's just like yes. And Patton is also amazing. Just like the cardigan, it looks like a dad. Like they did a very good job designing those characters. Just like it's too good. And then there's Deceit, who's also pretty good already. Like maybe the only thing that I would want to change about, not would want to change, but I would love to see him in this design is that, you know, I have a design for Into the Spider-Verse AU that I made for Deceit and all the other characters. And in Deceit's design, I made his suit have like a crisscross thing and pattern to it, and some of the Los angles were black and the others were yellow. So I think I'm gonna try to post a picture of it here. Yeah, I like how that looks. So if they could incorporate that somewhere in Deceit's design, I would love it. And now for Remus. I really can't say anything about it because again, it's perfect. Like the eyeshadow on his eyes, which is purple, I think, or blue. The mustache, which is amazing. The outfit, which is basically Roman's, but with the color switch, just black and green instead of white and red. It's perfect. Like I can't change anything about it. Can't change it. Second question from Lucifer: do you have a favorite dessert, and what is it? It's brownies, actually. I love it. And also this cake that my grandma does, which is just amazing. It's so good. It has chantilly and strawberries on top, and inside it's. Third question: what's your favorite language? Do you know anything from it? If you do, say something in it. I've been saying something in my favorite language for this entire video and in my entire channel. Yes, I love English. My mother language is not English. For those who don't know, it's Portuguese, and it's a very hard language to speak. Like even native people, like people who were born into Portuguese-speaking countries, have hard times talking the language. It's very hard. Jesus fucking Christ, it's real hard. And it's just complicated. Like if you have to study the grammar and the syntax and all that stuff, it's just fucking. I have this thing that I already think in English for in a lot of situations, just like it's in my head, you know. I've been learning it since I was 4 years old, so it's like been 15 years, and it's like my second language, you know. It's so easy for me to use it to write and to express myself, to speak. It's just really fucking easy for me, so yes, it comes very naturally, and I love it, so yes. Fourth question. If you could write a book series about anything, what would it be about? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, this is a good question, but it's also torturous for me because I've already started writing so many books that I've never finished, and so many that I've wanted to turn into like a series. There was one about this character who is the child of the king and the queen of the universe. Well, I'm not gonna use king and queen because they are like gendered terms. It's just like the royals of the universe. There are like two divine beings that rule over the universe. Some pirates, space pirates, just tried to destroy their home because the royal home is just kind of like a powerhouse for the universe. And yes, I was inspired by the whole thing. The whole mitochondria is a powerhouse of the cell thing. Yes. So if that thing gets destroyed, the whole universe just collapses. So there's some space pirates that want to do that because anarchy, I guess. And then there's this whole like intergalactical police sort of thing that is after Iris because she's a wanted criminal. And they eventually find themselves like together, and she like her situation is a bit tense and like so they eventually just decide to protect her, and then the pirates find her, and then they're after her, and all the while she finds a brother because the royals have had like 1,001 children. So it's just this plot is all over the place. Yes, I know. But I really like the characters, and I really wanted to make this into a full idea. I just haven't touched it in forever. And then there was one with there's like a family who could see just like ghosts, but like the ghosts were all about chaos. Like all they did was create chaos. And there's like a balance to it, and that this family is like I really don't remember much about this idea now. I forgot everything. I forgot much about it. Then there was another one which was very much like a revolution type of thing. You know, the main character, a teenager who a YA revolution type of thing. There's a teenager who is an orphan, and she is with the rebellion of this government that the government like uses cryogenics to freeze people and take out their brains, so they put the brains of other people who have died, but people who were with the government, and they put those brains into the body that was cryogenicized, that's a word, yes. So, you know, they want to end that. And one of the people who has their brains taken out of their bodies is the main character's brother. So she's like personal revenge. I have more, but I can't remember them all. So if you guys ever want to hear me, and if I could remember them all, I would make like a 2-hour-long video. But if you guys want me to talk about the story ideas that I've had in my writing career, just drop a comment and I will make that a video if any one of you is interested. So thanks in advance if you are interested. And now these are all questions from my friend, another friend back in Brazil, is my soulmate. Really, they are my soulmate. So anyway, how was adapting to Portugal? Real fucking hard, but not because it's another country, but it's because I didn't have my friends with me. It just kind of made me feel like very alone. And since I'm not a very sociable person and an open person, it took me so long to make a friend. And I still kind of feel like I'm not. It's hard, just because I don't have the emotional support, I would say. Because otherwise it's been pretty great. I mean, we get the cold, which is a good thing because I fucking hate heat. And in Brazil, especially Rio de Janeiro, is just so hot. I hate it with a passion. And the malls are giant and things are a lot, not everything, but some things are a lot cheaper than Brazil. And I also have a lot more safety. My mom was pretty panicked every time I had to go out in Brazil, and here she's a lot more chill about it. You know, I gained a lot of things. I lost a lot of things, but I also gained a lot of things. So you know, it was a decent balance there. What are some of the greatest differences between Brazil and Portugal? Like I said before, the weather, like the seasons, the people, because of course the people, but it's just in a sense that they are way less touchy than Brazilians are. I mean, I'm way too touchy, even by Brazilian standards. I'm just like very affectionate. I like to hug people and be close to people and intertwine arms with people that I love and care about. But here, it just kind of like, unless people are publicly dating, so they're out to everyone around them, you don't get a lot of people like touching each other. Of course, it's not like an offense if you touch anyone, but they're just like they have their personal space, and everyone just like respects that into a very high level. So you know. What else? It's not. I'm thinking the schools are pretty different too, because in Brazil, our system is very different. I'm thinking that most viewers are familiar with the American system, which is like school starts in September, ends in June, July. There are Christmas break, Easter break, and you get to choose like the area of studies that you want. And that's about how it works here in Portugal. But in Brazil, we had to study a whole bunch of subjects that didn't really like relate to each other. We didn't choose an area, we studied all of it. And school started in January and ended somewhere in November. No, it started in February and it ended somewhere in November. And yeah, that's about it. If I could have an exotic pet, what would it be? I don't know. I've never really thought about exotic animals as pets. The only ones that I actually want are dog and cat. Maybe fish, like a fish. But those aren't exotic. Exotic, like, oh, and bunny. I would love to have a bunny someday. But like, I wouldn't want to have a snake or a turtle or what else? I think people have scorpions as pets. I don't know, an exotic. Can it be like a mythical creature? Because I would love to have a dragon. Where would you go in the world if you could go anywhere? No. Maybe Holland, like I said, the Netherlands. I really loved it there. Or New York. I also loved it there. But I would also like to go somewhere I haven't been before. maybe Jamaica, Russia, Japan. I would really love to visit Japan someday. Just, yes. Do you believe in ghosts? I am open to the idea that they might exist, but I don't 100% believe that they exist. Are you scared of them? Oh, am I scared of ghosts? I mean, no, not really. I don't know how to explain that. Just, no. What do you like to write about? Good question. I love to write about nearly everything. But I love to make fantasy stuff, write fantasy stuff, just with the whole thing of their magic and a reality different from ours. I do love that. Or sci-fi. I've actually written a sci-fi fiction before, and it's one of my favorite works that I've ever done. Because it was so great to write it. And yeah, I know that that's not it's the genres that I'm talking about, and not something specific. But really, I love to write about everything, aside from sex, which I don't ever write about. Who's your favorite HP character? Harry Potter character? Let me see. I love McGonagall. She's my favorite teacher out of all of them, along with Lupin, actually. Sirius, Hermione, Harry, Ron, of course. Luna. I freaking love Luna. I want to protect Luna with all my heart. Do you believe in magical creatures? Again, it's the same thing with ghosts, just they can exist, and I would love to have some proof of it, but I don't necessarily believe that they exist. Continuing, what is your favorite school subject? None. I hate school. I mean, I like the subjects sometimes. I like history. I like learning about history. I like learning philosophy, learning sociology, but not the way that school makes us learn it, and having to make exams and evaluations for all of that. It's just, I hate it. What are some of your favorite books? Isa knew this question would torture me, didn't they? They just knew it would torture me, didn't they? Oh, okay. Well, there's the whole HP series, the whole Percy Jackson series, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, remake by Ilya Todd. There's a series called Splintered, which is very based on Alice in Wonderland, and I love it. There was also one called I forgot the name, but it was by Terry, and it was one of my favorite series for a while there too. I've gone to my Google Goodreads account because I don't remember all the books that I've ever read. Radio Silence by Alice Oseman is one of my favorite books ever. I love it so much. Six of Crows was great. No, The Night Circus was pretty good too, by Erin Morgenstern. Carry On by Rainbow Rowell and Eleanor and Park. Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda, loved it too. The Raven King series, I've read only 2 books, I think, but I love them and I need to continue because it's a good, fantastic series. There's a series from a Brazilian author that I love, which is the name translated would be Lost, and I don't think it's been translated to English. Really don't. I think it's been translated to Portuguese and to some other European languages, but not English. It's one of my favorite series because it's a romance, but I love it. I love it so much. There's Gone by Michael Grant that I never finished either, but it was a great plot, just overall. The Swap, it's a really, like, nothing, how do you say, nothing new, nothing exciting, but it was a sweet story, and I loved reading it. The Diabolic was kind of cool too, by S.J. Kincaid. I don't know how to pronounce that. Tormented, no, it was Unquiet, that's the name of the book. Jenny Garcia is actually one of the books that made me want to become a writer. But I think it's a little, now that I'm thinking about it, it may be a little bit problematic because it features a bipolar girl. And it's, I don't remember, like, if it was good representation or not. But with the way the general media portrays mental illnesses, I'm willing to bet that it wasn't great. I may be wrong, I don't know, but I wouldn't put my faith, so much faith into that. The Red Pyramid, I never finished this series either, but it's the Egyptian mythology series from Rick Riordan, and I loved it. Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard, haven't finished either, but I love the series. The Perks of Being a Wallflower, it was great. The Program, again a series that I never finished, by Suzanne Young, and it was, again, great. All I keep saying is that they are great, but they are, and like, if I spend too much time talking about these books, it would be too long a video. Magisterium is amazing, by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. It's a really good series. I haven't finished either, but I'm going to. Jesus Christ, The Selection was a good one too, by Kiara Kass. An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. It's amazing. I read this book in a day because it was so great. The Mystery of the Clockwork Sparrow by Catherine Woodfine. This was actually, like, recommended to me by a librarian in London when I was traveling, and I liked this. It was a good series to read. I think I haven't read the third book yet, but it was good. The Testing by Joelle Charbonneau. I think that's how you say it. It's a good one too, as far as I can remember. It's been a while since I last read it. Shattered, that's the series. No, Slated, that's the series by Terry that I mentioned earlier. I just hated the ending. I literally threw the third book at a wall because I was mad at the ending. Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen, amazing, yes. Looking for Alaska is my favorite John Green book ever. I think it's one of his best ones. Hunger Games was pretty fucking amazing. Hunger Games is good. Reboot by Emi Tintera. It was nice too. The Last Letter from Your Lover by Jojo Moyes. This one was so nice. I cried. It was so... Yes. Juliet Immortal and Romeo Redeemed by Stacey J. This is... I will say, I'm not a big fan of Romeo and Juliet. But these two books, they're like a retelling of the story. And like going beyond that after the characters have died and they like become, they sort of become these powerful beings that have to preserve love. But Juliet became like a very jaded and against the idea of love, while Romeo was very much still for it, but he was on the bad side of things, like he wanted to destroy love. So it's just kind of like, it's an interesting take on the story. I loved it. Nerve was good, but the movie is absolute trash. Like, the book is so much better, as most of them are. The Novice by Taran Mataru. I don't know how to pronounce half of his names. I'm sorry. But it's a good series. Again, I haven't finished it. I never finish anything, but it's a good one. Uglies by Scott Westerfield was also nice. Hopeless by Colleen Hoover made me feel so many things. that's about it. This one I think is very fitting for a Q&A video. It's the last question. Why did I choose Andy as my name? I will be like honest and say that it wasn't like a very thought out decision. I didn't spend days thinking about it. I just searched up the like neutral names, unisex names, gender neutral names, and Andy was one of the first one that popped up, and it was always a name that I liked. So I'm gonna give it a try. And then I put it on the internet. I made my friends start calling me Andy, and I like it. I really do. I never felt the need to change it. Sometimes I wonder what it would be like to use another name, and I think about changing, but then I think about how attached I've become to Andy, and yeah, I just want to keep Andy. I like Andy, so yeah. So these were all the questions. I think this became a very long video, so if you got to the end, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to spread love, and I'll see you in the next video.